I landed on an unknown world, and mysterious alien women were waiting for me. Awakening among stars. The impact should have killed him. Marcus Vale's consciousness returned slowly, like dawn breaking over an alien horizon. His surveyor ship's emergency beacon pulsed weakly somewhere in the wreckage behind him, but his attention was captured entirely by what lay ahead. She stood at the edge of the crystalline valley, her silhouette backlit by 3 azure suns. Lioness Starweaver moved with liquid grace, her silver hair flowing like mercury in the strange atmospheric currents. Her violet eyes held both wariness and wonder as she approached the crash site, followed by 6 companions from the Moonlight Sanctuary. "You fell from the void," Lioness said, her voice carrying melodic undertones that seemed to resonate with the crystals around them. "No outsider has breached the veil of Etheria in 1,000 cycles." Marcus struggled to sit up, his survival suit systems flickering. "My ship. Something pulled me in. An energy field unlike anything in our star charts." The women exchanged glances. Lioness knelt beside him, her hand hovering over his chest where the suit showed damage. "The veil chooses who enters. Perhaps you were meant to find us." Her touch, even through the suit's fabric, sent an unexpected warmth through him. Their eyes met, and in that moment, something indefinable passed between them, a recognition that transcended species or worlds. "I'm Marcus," he managed, mesmerized by the way the light played across her features. "I am Lioness, guardian of the Moonlight Sanctuary. You're injured." She gestured to her companions. "We must take him to the sacred grove. The healing springs will restore him." As they helped him stand, Marcus noticed the careful strength in Lioness's grip, the way she supported him without making him feel weak. The other women watched with curiosity rather than hostility, their ethereal beauty making the valley seem like something from a dream. "Why are you helping me?" Marcus asked as they began walking. Lioness glanced at him, a small smile playing at her lips. "Because the veil brought you here, stranger from the stars. And because—" She paused, seeming to choose her words carefully. "There is something about you that speaks to more than just chance." The path ahead wound through formations of singing crystals, their harmonies growing stronger as the group passed. Marcus found himself leaning into Lioness's support, not entirely from necessity, already captivated by this mysterious woman who had found him at the edge of existence. The sacred grove. The journey through Etheria's bioluminescent forest tested Marcus's endurance, but Lioness never left his side. Towering trees pulsed with internal light, their branches creating a canopy of shifting colors that painted her skin in shades of gold and sapphire. "Rest here," Lioness said softly, guiding him to a fallen log that glowed with soft phosphorescence. Her hands lingered on his shoulders as she helped him sit, and Marcus felt the warmth of her touch even through his damaged suit. A rustling in the undergrowth made the women tense. Lioness's hand moved to an elegant crystal weapon at her side, but Marcus recognized the sound, predatory movement patterns he'd studied in survival training. "Shadow stalkers," whispered Myra, one of Lioness's companions, fear evident in her voice. 3 creatures emerged from the darkness, their forms seeming to absorb light itself. Marcus's hand found his emergency flare gun, one of the few pieces of equipment that survived the crash. As the lead creature lunged toward Lioness, Marcus fired. The brilliant magnesium burst sent the shadows retreating with otherworldly shrieks. Lioness turned to him, her violet eyes wide with surprise and something deeper. "You protected us, though you barely know us." "You protected me first," Marcus replied, their gazes holding longer than necessary. At the Moonlight Sanctuary, the healing springs were unlike anything in human science. Lioness helped Marcus remove his damaged suit, her fingers careful and gentle. The intimacy of the moment wasn't lost on either of them as she guided him into the luminescent waters. "The springs respond to intention," she explained, stepping in beside him, her flowing garments clinging to her form in the water. "Think of healing, of wholeness." Marcus found himself thinking of other things entirely as Lioness moved closer, her hands touching his arms where bruises had formed. The water glowed brighter where she touched him, and the pain faded, replaced by a tingling sensation that had nothing to do with the spring's healing properties. "Your world," Lioness said quietly, her face inches from his. "Tell me about it." As Marcus spoke of Earth, of blue skies and single suns, Lioness's fingers traced the healing wounds on his arms. When he finished, she shared her own story, how the Moonlight Sanctuary protected ancient wisdom, how they'd waited generations for a sign from beyond the veil. "Perhaps you're that sign," she whispered, her hand finding his beneath the glowing water. The Festival of Lights. The Festival of Lights arrived with Etheria's 3 moons aligning, bathing the sanctuary in silver radiance. Marcus had been recovering for several days, each one bringing him closer to Lyanna. Tonight, she approached him wearing ceremonial robes that seemed woven from starlight itself. "Dance with me," Lyanna said, extending her hand. "It's tradition during the festival. I'll teach you." The dance floor was a circular platform of polished crystal that reflected the cosmic display above. Other pairs from the sanctuary were already moving in intricate patterns, but Marcus only had eyes for Lyanna. She pressed close to him, her hand on his chest, the other intertwined with his. "Feel the rhythm of Etheria," she murmured against his ear. "Let it guide you." The dance required intimacy, bodies moving in perfect synchronization, breathing matched, hearts beating in time. Lyanna's guidance was patient and tender, her body teaching his the ancient steps. When Marcus stumbled, she caught him, laughing softly, the sound like silver bells. "You're learning quickly," she said, her cheeks flushed with exertion and something more. "I have an excellent teacher," Marcus replied, spinning her as she'd shown him. When he pulled her back, she came closer than the dance required, her body fitting against his perfectly. The music shifted to something slower, more intimate. Around them, the other dancers faded away until it felt like they were alone beneath the infinite sky. Lyanna's hands slid up to circle his neck, and Marcus held her waist, feeling the warmth of her through the gossamer fabric. "Your presence here has awakened something," Lyanna confessed, her violet eyes searching his. "Something I thought was only legend, the joining of souls across the vast darkness." Marcus touched her face gently, marveling at the softness of her skin. "I feel it too. Like I was meant to crash here, meant to find you." They stopped dancing but remained entwined. The festival lights created a halo around Lyanna, and Marcus could no longer resist. He leaned down as she reached up, and their lips met in a kiss that seemed to make the very air shimmer with energy. The kiss deepened, passionate yet tender, speaking of possibilities neither had dared imagine. When they finally parted, breathless, Lyanna led him away from the celebration to the Cascade Gardens, where waterfalls of liquid starlight flowed endlessly. There, beneath the celestial waters, they kissed again, hands exploring, hearts racing, 2 beings from different worlds discovering that love needed no translation. Crossing boundaries, the contamination alarm shrieked through the stellar horizon at 0300 hours. Marcus jolted awake in his quarters to find emergency lights bathing everything in red. Captain Reeves' voice echoed through the comm system, "All personnel, remain in current locations. We've detected an unknown pathogen in sections 7 through 12. Initiating lockdown protocols." Marcus's door sealed with a definitive hiss. He reached for his communicator just as it chimed. Vera Nai's face appeared on the screen, her scales flickering with anxiety. "Marcus, I'm trapped in decontamination bay 3, she said. "The pathogen, it's reacting to our equipment. I need someone with xenobiology expertise." "I'm locked in my quarters," he replied, already pulling on his clothes. "There's a maintenance shaft between your room and the Deccan Bay," she said quickly. "It's not on the lockdown grid. But Marcus, if you come here, we'll be sealed in together until the all clear. That could be days." Their eyes met through the screen, both understanding what that meant. Days alone, no interruptions, no pretense of professional distance. "I'm on my way," Marcus said. The maintenance shaft was cramped and dark, but Marcus navigated it with desperate purpose. When he finally emerged in the decontamination bay, Vera and I was there, her scales radiating relief and something else, anticipation. "The pathogen?" he asked. "Contained," she admitted, gesturing to a sealed unit. "It was never dangerous to humans or Aquilians. But Marcus, I may have exaggerated the urgency." Before he could respond, she was in his arms, their bioelectric connection flaring to life. "I needed you here," she whispered against his neck. "Zexar Prime has requested my transfer. He says my attachment to you is becoming visible." "When?" Marcus pulled back to look at her. 3 days. Unless. She hesitated, then pulled him toward a section of the bay he'd never seen before, a circular chamber filled with what looked like bioluminescent water. This is an Aquilian bonding pool. If we complete the SNRA ritual, no force in my government could separate us. But Marcus, it's permanent. Our bioelectric patterns would be forever intertwined. Marcus studied her face, seeing the fear and hope warring in her expression. Show me. Virenai's hands trembled as she began removing her uniform. We enter together, she explained, her voice soft. The liquid enhances bioelectric conductivity. When we touch within it, our neural patterns will begin to synchronize. It's intensely intimate. Marcus didn't hesitate, shedding his clothes and following her into the pool. The liquid was warm, tingling against his skin like champagne bubbles. When Virenai took his hands, the sensation magnified tenfold. Are you certain? She asked one final time. Instead of answering with words, Marcus kissed her, pouring every feeling he'd been holding back into the connection. The pool around them erupted in light, responding to their combined energy. He could feel Virenai's consciousness brushing against his, her memories, her emotions, her very essence. She gasped against his lips as the bonding began, their bodies moving together in the luminous water. Every touch was electric, every kiss a sharing of souls. Marcus felt himself changing at a molecular level, his human biology adapting, evolving to match her frequency. I can feel your thoughts, Virenai breathed in wonder, her hands mapping his body with new understanding. Your desire, your love, Marcus, it's overwhelming. You're in my mind too, he replied, pulling her closer, deeper into the water. I can sense your heartbeat, hearts beat. He could feel them, 3 hearts pulsing in rhythm with his single one. They moved together with increasing urgency, the pool's light pulsing in time with their connection. When the ritual reached its crescendo, Marcus felt something fundamental click into place, a completeness he hadn't known he was missing. They emerged from the pool hours later, forever changed. Marcus's skin now held a faint iridescent quality, barely visible but unmistakably there. Virenai's scales had taken on new patterns, configurations that somehow reminded him of human DNA helixes. We're bonded, she said, wonder in her voice. I can feel you even without touching now. As if to prove it, Marcus stepped several feet away, yet the connection remained, a warm presence in the back of his mind. So what happens when the lockdown ends? We face them together, Virenai said firmly. Captain Reeves, Zexar Prime, anyone who objects. They cannot unmake what we've become. New protocols. The decontamination bay doors unsealed 42 hours later to reveal Captain Reeves, Dr. Holt, and Zexar Prime waiting outside. The Aquilian supervisor's scales were dark with disapproval, while Reeves looked resigned. Dr. Chen, Specialist Solace, the captain began, then stopped, noticing the subtle changes in them both. What did you do? We followed contamination protocols, Marcus said, taking Virenai's hand. The moment they touched, soft bioluminescence danced between their fingers, impossible to hide. Zexar Prime made a harmonizing sound of shock. Sylnara? You performed the bonding ritual? With a human. The bioelectric resonance was undeniable, Virenai replied, standing tall. Marcus and I are compatible at a cellular level unprecedented between our species. This is highly irregular, Reeves said, though her stern expression was softening. Dr. Chen, do you understand what you've done? According to the briefing I just received from the Aquilian embassy, this bonding is recognized as a legal marriage by their government. It's irreversible. I understand completely, Marcus said. In fact, I think our bond could be the key to deeper human-Aquilian relations. We're proof that our species can connect in ways we never imagined. Dr. Holt stepped forward with her medical scanner. May I? This could be revolutionary for xenobiology. With their permission, she scanned them both, her eyes widening at the results. Captain, you need to see this. Their cellular structures have partially merged. Marcus is producing Aquilian proteins, and Virenai's neural patterns have adapted human cognitive sequences. They're becoming something new. An abomination, Zexar Prime hissed. An evolution, Vera and I countered. My people speak of SWNARA as myth because we haven't encountered another species capable of true bioelectric bonding. Until now. Over the following weeks, Marcus and Vera and I became a sensation aboard the Stellar Horizon. Their unique connection allowed them to work in perfect synchronization, revolutionizing several research projects. Marcus could sense contamination through Vera and I's enhanced perception, while she could process human-style analytical thinking through their bond. They moved into shared quarters, creating a space that was part human comfort, part Aquilian sanctuary. The small bonding pool they installed became their nightly ritual, a chance to deepen their connection and explore the new dimensions of their relationship. "You know, the entire scientific community is watching us," Marcus said one evening as they floated together, the water glowing softly around them. "Let them watch," Vera and I replied, her consciousness mingling with his in waves of contentment. "We're writing new protocols for love across the stars." Their relationship inspired others. Within months, 3 more human Aquilian pairs had requested access to bonding pools, though none achieved the complete share that Marcus and Vera and I shared. They became ambassadors for their unprecedented union, teaching both species that connection transcended biology. Captain Reeves eventually married them in a human ceremony, while Zexar Prime reluctantly performed the Aquilian blessing. As they kissed under the observation deck starlight, their combined bioluminescence visible to everyone present, Marcus whispered, "Thank you for insisting I needed decontamination." Vera and I laughed, the sound harmonizing with his heartbeat. Best protocol violation I ever committed. In the vast expanse of space, aboard a ship sailing between the stars, 2 species had found a new way to become one. Their love became legend, the engineer and the decontamination specialist who proved that in the infinite universe, there were no boundaries that connection couldn't cross, no protocols that love couldn't rewrite. As they held each other, glowing softly in the darkness, the stars themselves seemed to pulse in approval, witnessing the birth of something beautiful and entirely new. The end.